Welcome to another video. So this one is the start of my time off work, my summer holidays, and we're going to start off by opening up the animals. The ducks can already hear me as always. We've already had breakfast, well Stephen has, so I'm not going to be eating until lunchtime. I've had a cup of coffee and essentially I'm going to try and vlog as much as I can whilst getting some other of the series stuff done that you guys already know about. If you don't, I've mentioned that in a few of my other videos. So we're going to start off by opening up, as I say, and then I've got plenty of work that I want to get done in this plot behind me, so I'm just going to pick one thing at a time. And the reason I'm starting outside is because despite all this glorious weather that we've been having, which has been too hot to handle for me, we're now going to be due rain from, well, it's supposed to be about lunchtime, or maybe 2 o'clock we might be able to push it to. So it's first thing now, so hopefully we'll have all morning at least until lunchtime to be able to get working outside. And I think that means that we should be able to get everything that I've got planned in this area done, and this area should be nice and done, organised and everything ready, because as always that's the idea. If when I go back to work, I'd like to be on top of everything, get all of the harvests in. I generally take these 2 weeks off in August, basically to get the harvest in and get the winter pantry processed. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Stephen's not off this week, he's off next week with me. So you just see all sorts of different things that we've got going on really in preparation for the challenge that we've got started in September, which I'm so excited about. Right, let's get these opened up. I think we can safely say one of the things is to start by tidying the barn, because you guys poo everywhere and make such a mess with the straw. This is our homemade feeder. That's just a drain pipe, but they're happy enough in there. These girls are actually going to get moved. They were in here because they were younger and they got picked on, but it's time for them to get moved now. In fact, let's get their eggs. One of the things I always find interesting when I'm on holiday is how much I realise how much I rush around. So there I'm kind of rushing to get a bucket to get the eggs and this, that and the other. I'm thinking, should I collect them later? And I thought, no, I can do it now. I haven't got anything else that I'm having to rush for, as in going to work or getting the kids to school and things like that. So that's one thing I really enjoy with the holiday time, is just the ability to slow down a little bit. I don't mean, you know, literally slow down and do next to nothing, which would be fine. Just slow down and just get everything done that I want to get done, and not have to just add to my list and get things done there and then, and just enjoy it all really. So I'm going to collect these eggs. Looks like there might be a couple from yesterday actually as well, so they've laid after we collected them yesterday. That's all good though, no fancy collection devices today. Now yesterday we let the sheep in here, which is where we keep the chickens, and as you can see, so the chickens feeder and everything's outside in the water, but if I let them out and feed them, then the sheep are going to be straight into it. So first job is to try and get the sheep back through the gate and lock them in the other area there. Horses are looking fine this morning. I think that's everyone. So we've got the mams and the lambs. Can't tell a difference these days. You're not happy, are you, being in here? Always want to be on the other side of the fence, whichever field you're in. I'm done. Everybody's present and correct, so it's safe to feed. So I'd left the feed bag there, because if I take that where the sheep are, then they'll just take it off me. So I'm going to go back now. I'm going to grab that feed bag. I'm going to go and feed the ones that you saw the gate open for, where the sheep had been allowed in, and get all those guys done, make sure they've got water and everything, collect their eggs. I'm going to get a bucket for that, and then we'll see how we get on. Everything done animal wise, all good, all happy, everybody's fine. So I've set my timer for an hour, because I'm going to work in this veg plot shortly, but I'm going to get the greenhouse and everything watered first, because that, as always, is desperate with the heat that we've had. But the reason I've set it for an hour is I've put the water on to heat up for an hour because there's no water to do the pots at the moment, and also in case anybody needs a shower and things like that. So as soon as that timer goes off, I'm back in, things to do inside. But I find that sometimes when I set a timer, it motivates me to get stuff done more quickly. Not that I'm rushing, as I keep saying, but just setting the day, setting the pace, and then we'll keep going like this until lunchtime, until hopefully we will get some rain because we're absolutely desperate for it. But plenty to get done in here, plenty to get done in the veg garden, and I want to get as many of the harvests out of the garden as we can because we've got rain for a couple of days now, so I don't think I'll be able to get much harvested. So that's what I want to get done in between now, which is about 8 o'clock now, and about 12, 1, 2 o'clock, depending on when the rain starts. Watering done inside, and that has taken me over 20 minutes just to do the first part of the greenhouse. Now there's a couple of things that I want to show you in here before we move on. My funky shaped tomatoes are changing colour. This is literally happening overnight. And this one here too. Do you remember these from previous video? Absolutely looking awesome. Pleased with those. They're super stick, so I think I've got what, 1, 2, 3, so about 7 or 8 on one plant, maybe 9. And I've got plenty of tidy up work I need to get on with in here as well. So I need to remove these leaves that are completely heat damaged. There's a few things to harvest in here. But the other thing I wanted to quickly show you is the basil that you saw me sow. The back one, which I can't remember the name. If you remember, I'll put it on the screen. If I remember, not you. And this is the English basil, which germination has been a little bit more erratic. There was nowhere near as many English basil seeds, or is it, sorry, British basil, not English basil. We'll see how that gets on. And none of the parsley is germinated just yet, but that might take longer. We'll have to wait and see. And the other thing finally in here that I want to show you is what happens when you don't water your aubergines during a heat wave, which I've been doing every day, but yesterday I didn't get to water these for whatever reason. Now let me show you what's happened to them, but how you can rescue them. So this is a very sad looking aubergine, very squishy, completely dried out, and I'm literally soaking this with water. I'm going to leave it sit for a little bit, soak it again, and just keep doing that 3 or 4 times, and then later on I'm going to show you how this will have recovered. And it's the same for that poor thing over there, and this is going on the meal plan this week, and I'm going to show you exactly how nice it's going to turn out, even though I've been so nasty to it and forgot to water it. I'm sorry. And the same here with this tomatillo, so you can see the difference when I actually sat it in my little bucket from my tin pan from the kitchen, and this is just loving life. The ones that are only getting watered by hand and just in a pot are not loving life. So the difference, I think, I'm going to move these today as part of the work that we're doing in the vegetable garden into the polytunnel. So Grace is going to come out and give me a hand very soon, so you can see the end result of that too. But these should be very prolific if they can get enough water. Now we're past the worst of the heat. We're just having normal British heat now for the summer, which is rain and not very warm, which is fine by me. Anyway, now we're past the worst of the heat. I'm hoping that things in here are going to recover because things are just looking quite dire in certain situations. But never mind, you know, we live and learn, and every year is different and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to do a separate video, which I did mention on the autumn and winter garden that I've got coming up. I won't include that as part of the vlog, but I'll show you that separately. Well, everything is starting to look a right old mess, so this is what we want to get done today. All these lettuces have gone to seed, so we'll put those in for the chickens. Those nettles are growing behind this mesh, which is difficult to get to, so I need to get some gloves and get those done. The nasturtiums, things like that, all need just getting tidied up. I'm going to cut this feverfew back. This is pineapple sage. Get some of that harvested. Some of these carrots are trying to go to seed because of the heat, so we'll get all of those out. I intend on emptying pretty much all of this bed and cutting back some of that celery because that's supposed to go into seed. And we're going to use the celery seeds, but I'm not sure. Never done it before, so I don't know how long it's actually going to take. So I might take those out and just get this refilled with all of the winter crops that we've got going on. And it's just looking so untidy, so messy. So that is what I want to get done by lunchtime. We've got the potato bed just over there. Now some of these are actually showing that didn't get hilled up enough, so those will be going in the compost. I'm not bothered if we get volunteer potatoes next year. I'm going to pick some of the sweet peas, get that bed at the back there sorted, and all of this will get replanted for winter crops. So it's the most accessible beds that we've got, and it makes sense that we use them for the winter crops. These cabbages are coming along nicely, but as you can see, something's got through the netting and he's starting to get these eaten, so I think we'll get these harvested because I don't want them. I was waiting for them to bulk up a little bit more, but they're going to go to waste if I don't do that. So we'll get this netting off and get working on this bed as well. But first of all, my alarm's just gone off, so it's time to go and get the hot water, get the pots done, things like that in the house, and then Grace and I will be coming back out and doing a good couple of hours together on all of this mess. Let's see what it looks like at the end. I'm looking forward to it. I popped the bread maker on before I went out, and that's looking really nice now. That must just be proving what's left. 2 hours 15 left, but that's looking really well. So that helps me out on these kind of days when I'm busy with other things. We've taken that celery out, so Grace and I are doing the 2 hours in the garden now. And the celery was down this end bit there, but I just couldn't believe how much space it was taking up. It was taking over everything, and I'd actually forgotten that I'd sown some radish down there, which it had just totally killed off because it was being so much of a thug. We've got loads of celery seed. That's what I was keeping it for. It was more just to see if it worked. So we're going to get this raked now, and then there's a few turnips and things there, and we're just going to basically have a look what's in the rest of this bed once we've got weeded where I'm standing and along the paths and things like that. So it's starting to look tidier in a way, but it's got to look, gets worse before it gets better, I think. That's looking a lot better, a lot cleaner. So there wasn't many turnips to rescue, but there are a few, so we shall get those cleaned up and part of the harvest. And now we're going to work our way along this bed. So Grace is going to help me because she loves harvesting stuff. So hopefully there'll be a few usable carrots in here. I've chopped back all of the nasturtiums, so they should flourish back into life. So this bed shouldn't get cleared completely. Now unfortunately these carrot tops aren't going to be that useful in the kitchen, so we'll be chopping them off out here, and the greens will go to the compost or to the chickens, and the same for the beetroot leaves. These ones have not survived very well, so we won't be using those. We've got plenty of other greens on offer at the moment. Some of these are looking a lot better. So these are the chogia leaves. I think they seem to be better in my opinion than the bolt hardy leaves. But anyway, so we're going to get this harvested, and then I think we're going to have to rotivate this. It's absolutely solid. I need to get some more muck in there. I'm not sure. We'll figure out what we're going to do with this patch here. And then these are the plants that we've got going that have been attacked by slugs, snails, pigeons, the like, and we've kept the ones that we think will make it. So these are all, they've all had a good water, and we're going to be tending to these over the next few days, and if they come on then they'll be getting planted as well. We've just put everything in the barrow that hasn't made it, and the celery over there is the same. So this area here in front of me is nice and weed free, and we're ready to harvest. We're doing one thing at a time just so we don't feel overwhelmed. And just a quick note on this trough here, that's sage and thyme, and it hasn't been watered during this heat wave. I've for some reason totally missed that out, and the sage is looking really sad, so I've just literally tipped a full bucket of water on that, and I'm going to do the same again 2 or 3 times just to help it soak in and get it rejuvenated, even though we're due rain later, just to be nice. Right Grace, let's get harvesting. The carrot's done. I'm afraid most of them have succumbed to carrot root fly, so I won't be growing any more carrots without netting on as soon as they've germinated, basically. So we will be getting in all of the last lot of carrots for the year whilst I'm on holiday. I was going to say today, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So they're all out of there. There are a few that we've managed to salvage, so I'll be getting those washed up and they'll be getting used very quickly. They won't be any good for storage. So I'm pleased about that at least. But yeah, lesson learned, don't sow any carrots without a net anymore. So we got away with it for the first couple of years, but I'm a firm believer that once you've got a veg plot going somewhere, things know that you're there, and then once they start coming, they just keep on coming. Because our first couple of years we didn't net, we didn't have any extra bits and pieces, and we just got away with it. But now we never ever get away with it. So yeah, absolutely be using the net all the time moving forward. I'll show you what we've got though. These just have the tops chopped off. They haven't been washed up yet, obviously, as you can see. So there's a fair few there, and a nice amount. There's a fair few there and a nice size as well. So I'm not disappointed. It's just lessons learned. So these will be getting processed once I go in, but not yet because we've got the beetroots to do now. We're hiding in the shade because the sun's come out and it is absolutely scorching again. It was about 27 now. Anyway, that bed's completely empty now, so we've harvested all the beetroot. I'll show you that just now. And we've come down to this bed which has got the potatoes in it. Now some of these have been exposed to the sun, as I say, so we're putting those in a separate bucket, but the ones that are good we shall be harvesting and using for our meals over the next few weeks. So Grace is going to help because she loves harvesting, as I said. So we're going to start with the potatoes in the shade, get all of that tidied up, and then if we've got the energy, we'll move into the sun. Gently, gently. Ow. What we're going to do is we're going to compost the top foliage. So I've got the wheelbarrow just behind me, which will get those in, and I've got a little crate to put the potatoes in. So these ones are the red, I think they're alouette, so they've got a yellow flesh inside. I absolutely love those. Right, let's get busy. Wow. Oh, it's got a split. No, it's fine. That one's edible. We'll just have to use it first. Well, I'm back outside after lunch. Grace has been really helping me. She's done a couple of hours outside with me, and Jack's done a load of stuff inside. So they're busy doing something, you know, doing their own thing now, enjoying the summer holidays. I'm going to show you what we've harvested so far, but this is taking a lot longer than I anticipated, as with everything that I sort of set my mind to. I think I'll get it done a lot quicker than I do. But the good news is the rain and the thunder is now not due till about 4 o'clock, although I'm pretty sure I've just heard thunder in the distance, but it's still really warm. No sign of the rain just yet, so I'm going to show you what we've got, and then I'm going to get back. I think that's the farm. Can you hear that? I thought that was thunder. Maybe it was the farm. Anyway, I'm going to get busy finishing off. We've got half of the potatoes harvested. We had a bit of a panic on because there was a flipping bee in the soil of the potato bed, an absolutely massive queen bee. I'm saying queen bee, I presume it was queen bee. She was so big, I don't know why she was underneath the soil. There's no other bees that we found like in a ground nest or anything like that, so I didn't have to give myself a fright with that one, to be honest. She was huge. Anyway, she's hovering around before we went in for lunch, so I'm going to see if she's still here. I don't know if she's annoyed with me for disturbing her. I hope not. Anyway, that was good fun. So I've got the other half of the potato bed to harvest, and what I'm trying to do is get it all before the rain comes, basically. So it's due to rain non-stop when it starts for the next 24 plus hours, actually, so more than just 24 hours. So that's why I really want to get everything harvested as quickly as I can now, so that at least tomorrow during the rain I can get it processed in the house if I don't get it done today. I did want to get a load of seeds in today as well, but it's just not looking time-wise as if I'm going to get that done. So I just want to get this bit finished, harvested, looking neat and tidy, all tidied up and cleaned up, all the weeds out and all of that, and then I'll be happy with that outcome today. This is our basket. So there we've got the carrots that I showed you earlier, so pleased with the ones we've got. And then we've got beetroot. There's some really good size ones, and then there's some tiny ones which we'll just use as baby beets and roast them whole. So there's the different varieties. We've got chores here, and I think these are Pablo. I'm really pleased with these ones as well. As the ones that have grown bigger, like this monster, were on their own basically, and the ones that have grown pathetically small like this were where I've put them far too close together. So that's what I want to make sure when I plant the winter ones, that I put them far enough apart, because I'll want to be leaving them to grow as big as possible. And as always, the ducks agree with me. I'm just clearing out the mess there. Anyway, pleased with the harvest we've got there. So that's really good. We'll take that in later, but I'll come show you what we've got for the potatoes up to now. So this is where we left it. There's actually not even half the bed. I thought there was half the bed, but we've got quite a lot there left to harvest. So that's looking really good so far. So I'm going to keep working on this bed and hope that there's no more scary things underneath the soil. Some of them, as you can see, are going to be wasted, which I mentioned, which is such a shame. But they'll go on the compost, so I'm not too worried that they're going to go to waste or anything like that. And people worry about volunteer potatoes in the compost. To be honest, any potatoes I get, I'm pleased about, whether they're in the compost or whether they're growing where they're supposed to. I'm quite happy to have them. Whatever nature wants to give me, I shall take. Right, I'm going to work on getting the rest of these out before that rain comes. We're getting there, so I need a big crate. These ones are all good just to be crated up. I need to go and get the barrow to put all of these in, and then I think there's 2 rows left now to harvest, so just the middle rows. There's quite a few so far. I mean, nowhere near as many as we've harvested, obviously, that are for the compost heap, but I'm really pleased. I especially love the variety of colours that we had down that end of the bed. So once this is empty, then these potatoes can go into storage. They're not for winter storage. I'm not intending on getting a winter storage out of these. These are going to be for fresh eating. I'm hoping the ones down the bottom plot are going to be more for storage, but we'll wait and see. And I've also got some more over there in the old veg plot as well. So we'll see how we get on with this. But at the moment, I'm going to have to go and take a break. It is absolutely roasting. This weather is crazy. Right, miss. So this is where we've got to. I've moved all of those plants that want a little bit extra protection into the cold frame, and I'm going to close this up now for the night because the rain is definitely on its way. There's a change in the weather, you can feel it. So I'm going to take that piece of wood out, close that one up, and then this bed here, we've cleared the feverfew that had taken over, and we've cleared all of this. All of this bed is now waiting to be planted or to add muck into. This bed, unfortunately, we haven't got to that just yet, but we will. I've taken out all but 2 rows. If we've got time this evening, I'll take out those 2 rows as well, but we'll see how we get on for that. And that bed we haven't got to. So, considering I wanted to get it done by lunchtime, it's definitely not going to plan. Well, we've been busy with other things, and finally we've got some tea on, so I'm going to show you what's in there. The rain's just started. It's about 6:30. I've just come up from getting a courgette to put into tea because you can't eat at the moment without having courgette in a meal. Ask the kids. And I'm going to get this finished. We're going to sit down and we're just going to enjoy a nice meal while it rains outside and the ground just soaks it all up because it is so much needed. I've done here, I found a pack of beef mince, which we haven't got much of that left, if any. I actually thought we'd run out, so I've made some meatballs. That is just got some garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper. There's an egg and some oats in there just to bind it together. And then I've just put a tin of pinto beans, which I got when we were in lockdown and I was stocking up the pantry. Half of the courgette's in here and the other half is in with the vegetables roasting. There's a tin of tomatoes. What else is in there? Oh, there's some red onion marmalade, Worcestershire sauce, an oxo cube, you know, just some flavourings and things like that. So we're just going to get that warmed up. I'm going to pop the lid on, cook these meatballs through because I've browned them off, and then that is done. A good, healthy, nutritious meal, and then we will get onto the potatoes for next week's meal plan. And there we have it. We've got the roast veg, we've got the sweet potatoes, which are also roasted, and then meatballs with courgette, beans, tomatoes, all that good stuff. So that's Stephen's, and it's going to cool off because he's just having a shower to finish off his day. I'm going to get the rest of this served up, and then I'm going to go sit down and we're going to finish one of the series that we've been watching. Finally, get it over with, and we'll start again tomorrow. See you later.